So, what's up people and welcome to the Mission 87 discussion of Spy Family. So Mission 87 came out about a week ago, and as always I will leave a link to this mission that's currently being shown on the publisher's official website, Manga Plus, for free to the North American audience. So if you're interested, we'll go take a look at it before they pull this mission back. Okay, so Mission 87 turns out to be the epilogue mission to this entire Winston Wheeler arc. And it turned out to be a very good arc, and this particular chapter turns out to be one of those very lighthearted moments that closes this entire very tense story. And overall, you get this feeling of wholesomeness throughout this entire chapter, and it covers a few different topics. The first one, of course, is Fiona Frost. Considering how much she got injured, it was appropriate that they did show an epilogue with regards to her situation. And it turns out that not only is she registered in a hospital, she's registered in the hospital that she and Twilight works at. And it turns out that Dr. Gore gave her the VIP private room because of course he has a thing for her. But Fiona, being Fiona, immediately gives him the cold shoulder. And you get an appropriate response from Gore. But what's interesting is he actually came in for a reason. He brought over some VIP files for patients that will be transferred over to Twilight. And so it's interesting. What are these VIP characters, and will there be any interactions that Twilight will have in the future that may be associated with Operation Strix? We won't know. I guess Tatsuya Endo will tell us later on. But for the moment, we see some very comedic moments, and we see the nurse finally kick Dr. Gore out. But the most surprising thing during this entire time was that the nurse turns out to be Sylvia Sherwood, the handler. And she wanted to have some private discussions with Fiona. The discussions turn out to be pretty funny. First of all, of course, she gives Fiona a hard time because of the actions that she did. Not really initially with regards to how she is worrying about her, but mostly because how her being absent at work is causing her problems in the office. And so, Sylvia is being Sylvia, and we get some funny lines from her while she is in this weird nurse's getup. But eventually it does turn to her concern to Fiona, and she starts saying that you don't need to go that far out with regards to any situation. You need to take care of yourself. And the interesting thing is she closes with, even that person is not worth risking your life over. And of course, Fiona immediately understands who that person means. And she starts panicking about it, which of course amuses Sylvia. We're not really sure if Sylvia said that as advice or to troll her so that she will go into a panic. But in any case, we can leave Fiona to recover. Now, one last thing I do have to add is that we find out that although her injuries are severe, they were clean breaks. And because of that, she should be able to recover really soon. In which case, Fiona starts realizing maybe it was due to that situation in the mountains. Which was interesting because I just said that as a joke a few discussions back when Fiona went crazy. I thought that, maybe it's due to the training in the mountains. And it turns out it's due to the training in the mountains. So, that was quite interesting. But in any case, then we turn back to Loid. And we see him having breakfast with Anya and Yor, and because Loid is injured, Yor decided to cook. And the biggest surprise from Anya is that the meal is actually starting to taste better, which of course from Yor's perspective is a big win. But from Loid's perspective, he's noticing that the kitchen is a complete mess, and he starts noticing that Yor is actually more injured than he is after doing the cooking bout. So, I don't even want to know what happened during that cooking session. But it does turn into an interesting moment. And of course, because he thinks about Yor's injuries versus his, which he received in the field, Anya immediately starts realizing that Papa had a really difficult mission. and he's very injured. So of course she immediately starts realizing that she has to make sure Papa gets some privacy and rest. And so the rest of the chapter turns out to be Anya's quality time with Yor, where they're drawing and having a really good time. And of course, Yor does ask Anya about her time at the zoo. And Anya comes back really excited, talking about a lot of things, including showing the stuffed lion that she received at the zoo. And they start talking about how cute it is and all this, which of course makes Bond jealous. And you see that Bond comes up looking like a very proud feline, I guess. And so, of course, both Yor and Anya know exactly what Bond is doing. And so Anya starts getting interested and starts leading Bond on, saying, well, can you do this sort of animal? Can you do that sort of animal? And of course, when it came to the giraffe, Bond was trying to stretch his neck so much that there was some very interesting accidents that occur. And Yor actually then takes her hairbrush and brushes the fur around his neck, such that he ends up looking like he has a long neck. And well, it's not a giraffe. I don't know exactly what it is, but Bond sure does look peculiar. But what's interesting is Anya starts now getting more excited about the brushing because it looks really good. And Anya starts asking Yor if she could brush her. And we get a really wholesome scene where Yor is brushing Anya's hair. And right at that point, Frankie comes in. And so this whole thing now shifts to Frankie. And they start talking about maybe they should brush Frankie's hair, which makes Frankie really panicked about what are you people doing? And there was some very interesting comments from Yor, which angers Frankie, which of course creates a huge commotion. And you see Loid at the end of this chapter going, I don't think I'm going to be getting much rest. So it was a very lighthearted way to end this chapter. I thought it was an appropriate chapter to cool off this entire very tense situation. This was a very interesting chapter. I do still feel that this was the most espionage type arc out of the entire series so far. It really didn't cover that much in terms of Operation Strix, but it did show for the first time a really direct confrontation between the Ostanian secret police and Wise. So it was very interesting. And in fact, what I want to do is maybe later on when I have the time, I'll do a summary of the entire arc and how I felt about it. But in any case, this was the Mission 87. This, of course, opens up Mission 88 to be anything. And it will be interesting to see how Tatsuya Endo moves this series further. And once that chapter comes out, I'll bring out another video and hope you join me at that time. Now, during the coming week, I will be on a business trip, so I won't be able to make any videos for the whole week. And so probably I will be delayed for the next Spy Family mission as well. I apologize for that. But I'll try to get on it as quickly as possible once I get back. And in any case, if you read it, what you think about Mission 87, any comments that you have will be greatly appreciated. And until the next episode, happy manga reading, and as always, Jaya, nice day everyone.